各位好，我是风流。那我们今天继续我们的 Hitchhiker 第四个了。就我们被困在车子里面。Yellow?
Copernicus?
Copernicus?
You?
Nope.
Let me guess. You've gotten yourself into some kind of jam, swinging by your toes over a tiger cage? Kidnapped? That doesn't sound like part of your dream.
Is it real?
Then again, you do have a way of making enemies. Who'd you piss off this
这个是
time?
晃是怎么回事？
I sincerely doubt that. The fact that I'm hearing your voice now suggests otherwise. Don't mess with him, kid. He's the final
最
gatekeeper.
后的守门
Way
人
too。strong. You need to learn the spell first, before you can go up against him.
What?
Hey, if I knew it, I'd tell you. Speaking of which, did you find the box, Copernicus?
那背包还在。
Have you opened it yet? Figure out a way to open that box, Copernicus. Inside, you'll find out who you really
我
are.
也解放了，灵魂解放。
Lucky for you, I've got my farmer's almanac here. Let's have a look. Hang on. See, cabbage,
What the
caraway,
fuck？是农民
carrot,
历吗
car trunk.
？What？
First thing you should do is reach around for the latch. Sounds kind of obvious. Okay, next step. See if you can scare up the brake lights. Can you find them? It's
Nope.
a little gizmo with some wires.
Nope。这个是哦，太瞎了吧？
Okay. Yank on the wires and try to pull the lights into the trunk with you.
Well,
What color are the lights?
red.
We need a green light, kid. A steady green light. That's the way forward. Gotta run now. Good luck to you, kid.
What the？你知道这个，你好歹打开110吧，不救我呀？这是啥咪东东啊？这个是什么意思？看不是很懂。应该是他们都变绿色的，这个是绿色吗？圆圈接圆圈嘛，正接正，绿接红。嗯？负的，红的，蓝的，未来，哦，但我不知道逻辑是什么，但是感觉就是这样搞。我飞出来，飞到某一台车上去了。新的队友，
ما ادري شو تسوي بسيارتي
我完全听不懂。
هذا المكان راح اتسح بعدين انجلش اسف ما ادري هاي مو صدق بس انا اشعر به
听不懂啊？
من صدق حاجة سعر
可以讲中文吗？
إلها دلالة ورمزية
鬼子讲中文。
الجير ولا القرن على الدشبول ايه معود على كيفك اريد اوقف
有毒啊，完全不能沟通哎。我怎么翻译？哦？
C'est tu la chimère rêve Ulica wygląda jak droga do horyzontu. Pamięć wyblekła nadzieja, popepa mnie dopciął. Dejo acusa otro más, ven bajo que no puedes pararte de ello.
成功了。
I'm sitting here, my English? No, sorry. I could of course back in the real world, but it doesn't seem to have come with me into
你
this.
是喝醉了吧？
To me, this sounds like Arabic. I guess it depends on one's perspective. Anyway, as long as you're not going to start shouting at me again, it's an improvement. Kidnap you? I don't think my singing is that bad. How would I know? It's not.
那你为什么在开这台车？
No idea. I find myself behind the wheel here, night
你是
after
中邪哦。
night. And the trunk, that's my dream too. You don't want to know how many hours I've spent in there, trying to shift my legs to keep them from falling asleep. Why should I know? What makes you think you can turn up out of thin air?
我在你车里面，不然我叫警察来了。不然我叫警察哦。
I'm not sure actually. But here, it's funny. On this highway, everybody calls me Al-Shatir. Never heard of Ibn al-Shatir? A famous astronomer. I guess you don't learn about him in your schools. One of the forefathers of astronomy. In many ways a predecessor to... Yes, that's right. Copernicus, Al-Shatir. Two iconoclasts from different lands who challenged the belief that the sun revolved around the earth. Two dreamers who had the conviction that a unique consciousness is not the only thing in the center of the universe. Maybe you're not just part of my story, like I'm not part of yours. You were trapped in the trunk, where I've been many times. It's like you've wandered into my dream, and I've wandered into yours.
什么奇怪的状态？
Takes a leap of faith, I know, to admit that we both exist. A man with many eyes. No, I've run across many strange things recently, but not that. From wars, from bombings, from the cockroaches that crawl out as...
原来你会怕蟑螂啊？
On the news, you hear only about armies and religious madmen, but it's the gangsters that drove me away. They're the ones who did this to me. I'm one of the ones who didn't make it, not all the way. I'm stranded somewhere in between, trying to complete the journey every night in my sleep. The El Mahdi army. They called themselves an army anyway. They were looking for my brother-in-law, because he worked as a translator for the US military. Neighbors warned us we should move, and so we did, twice. Yes, twice.
也太多了
We
吧？
moved the first time, then neighbors started telling us that we should move
但
again.
是书包只能带很
There
小
were，people looking for
不然
us.
拖着行李箱逃。
By this point, we already felt a bit like exiles. And once you're an exile, you never stop being one. The hard part will always be leaving our first house. That's the house I grew up in.
The big house 吗？
Where we used to sit and tell stories, where we would pick oranges from our own orange
所以你
trees.
讲的童年，
A few years passed and we forgot about the threat. Life had returned to normal. And that's when they came back and picked me up. 2 days later, when I woke up in the Baghdad hospital, I found out that they dumped me off there and told the hospital that I'd hurt myself in a work accident. Yes, after that, I couldn't stay. The women in my family, my mother, my sisters,
那你有什么
they were
用？
the only ones who knew. I was very close to the women in my family. They were the ones who were around all the times while I was recovering. The men, my father, my brothers, always working, always out of the house. I got on a plane to Istanbul, where my cousin lived. He took me to Izmir, where the smugglers are. They're easy to find. I bought a space on a vessel, headed to Mytilene, Greece, the closest harbor in Europe. Just a simple raft, but not as overcrowded as in some of the stories you hear. I was lucky, at least in the beginning. We couldn't leave for 5 days. Too many Greek army ships in the sea. Every morning, getting up at 3:30 to make a go of it.
我都开始起不来。
I was so
我现在每天就这样睡觉，要从那么早起床。
Finally, impatience had overtaken fear. We did not make it to Europe. The boat
到了阿拉伯，
people are trying to understand what's going on, but the men on the ship only speak Greek. At first, people are worried that it's pirates. They take everything from the passengers. Sometimes take the passengers themselves. Sometimes just ram the boat and laugh as it sinks. But no, these are police, it turns out. They take us back to Turkey, where I'm waiting and waiting and waiting.
And waiting 要等到什么？20年吗？20年后我们又是一条好汉哦。
All this in my dreams at first. These were things I remembered from
不，
cruise
你还是在
and
做
on the
梦。
highway. I've dreamed this highway, this car before, many times. It's a good question. I had an uncle once who left Iraq many years ago to study engineering at the University of Bowling Green.
听起来好烂。
I guess this made an impression on me. Who knows why we dream the things we dream? What is your dream about? A breakup? That's it? Ah, that's more like it.
听到悲伤代表开心。You
Who's this person that's been taken away from you? Do you have a photo? Who knows? Maybe I've seen her somewhere along this highway.
这是梦境啊。
I know her, the same woman, but with different hair color.
这样你都看
I
过
just saw her at the gas station a few miles back. A decoy? What kind of game are you playing
？A
here?
D car? Yes, it's a D card.
I say, you're lucky nobody got hurt. Yes, that's right. There was a
What?
scene there at the gas station. She was being questioned by two men. She seemed to be explaining herself, pointing at the empty passenger seat in her car. They didn't really seem interested in her, though. They were more interested in the
这
empty
个人好像
seat.
驼背。
One man was wearing an orange vest. He seemed to be in charge. Another shorter guy next to him. Mean-looking, like a shrew. A trap? So, they were looking for you?
Maybe.
Sounds like getting in my dream. Getting in the trunk. May have saved your neck. No, I didn't get a look. I just heard one strange thing they said. That they were
8 根
looking for a
手
guy
指头，
with 8
2根
fingers.
手被剁了。
They were going to find him. Something like that. 8 fingers. 8 digits maybe. Uh-huh. And you wouldn't happen to
Yep,
have a strange blue
I
box
have.
with you, would you? That was the other thing they mentioned. They have the key, but don't want the box open.
我有这什么鬼？
Well, if they were chasing you... Say, have you noticed how many times
Yeah, I
it's
see
turned
it.
suddenly? I don't know, but the weather also seems to be turning suddenly. Turn on the radio and see if you can find a weather report. My God! Get that thing off the window!
What the？
Get it off! Get it off!
怎么逃？
It seems to be changing the weather conditions.
Dr. Zest presents Interstate Riddle Hour. Dr. Zest, the Central Valley's favorite raisin cola, welcomes you to a daily hour of suspense and mystery. With baffling riddles and maddening hints that will...
Suddenly, it's sunny.
应该可以了吧？
It's not working. They're stuck to the car. We need some other kind of weather to get clear of them.
Old reptilian bus, shedding a green skin, rusty scales, all melanoma underneath.
Level 3 thunderstorm.
下雨有没有用？
Wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Damaging winds are causing some trees and large branches.
It looks like tornado conditions now.
tornado 啊，那没什么用。
The tornado. It's starting to pull the
有点
tumbleweeds
帅
out of the car, but it's not strong enough.
这样都没用。
Warning, tornado.
哦，被吹走了。
Oh, good riddance. Look, that was very strange.
Very strange，每一个都怪怪的。
And the eyes on those things. It seemed they were spying, searching for something. Did you notice?
Maybe it's me.
What do you know about these guys? The ones
Nope.
who are after you. Seems he had a few extra to spare for the tumbleweeds.
太多了。
I see. What else? Oh, let's see. Balkan tours.
Back on toes。
Not directly, no. But I've heard about them. From a guy in Istanbul I met. He had made it through to Europe, but then had come back to get
So?
his money. But that's
讲
enough.
重点。
He had come across these Balkan tours on his way back from Serbia. He warned everyone about them who would listen. Apparently, they had a charitable program to have
And
refugees,
then?
promising to have them. But no one who accepted their help was ever seen from again. People just disappeared. And it wasn't just people in the refugee community either. Tourists too. They were strange stories. I only heard bits and pieces. Nothing very clear. Mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors.
这应该是这个人先发疯了，还要做梦。
Yes, people who were heading from Turkey into Croatia and Serbia were
应该是一种集体幻想
Watch
吧。
out for mirrors. Rooms full of mirrors. Rooms full of ice. Well, my friend, I think right now the best thing you can do is run for safety. They probably have a good beat on your location, assuming the tumbleweeds were on their payroll. Make no mistake, these guys are dangerous. Well, we've all been in a dream. We've wanted to wake up,
Yep.
but couldn't, right?
鬼压床。
Let's just say there are people who thrive on that fear and have ways of keeping you from waking up. Exactly. What
Exactly.
did you do to these guys anyway?
I don't know.
Why you? Right. Where did you get the box? They must be worried about what's inside. Worried it will expose them.
51区机密。
To her and to all the other people they've hurt. I wish I knew. Even if I make it to my destination, I'm still not home. That's what it means to be an exile.
然后呢？
My niece, Nadia, used to ask me that question all the time. Where are you going, uncle? She was the only young person who knew I was leaving. Imagine, she knew when my father didn't. I was always mad at my sister for telling her. She would ask me that when I was putting her to bed. The only thing you can tell when a person that young
睡吧，孩子。
asks a question like that at bedtime. I told her the truth. Not the truth, but the truth wrapped in the blanket of a story.
Like what? Okay.
There's a place where the river Tigris runs through Baghdad. A place called the Two-Story Bridge. When I was a kid, I would go fishing there and look out at
长太丑了。
and wonder where it all led. As a child, I was told that the farthest place on the earth from Baghdad is a place called Fiji.
Let's
I
go
would train
Fiji.
my eyes on the horizon and imagine that all the water led there, to the point where the sky met the earth. To my child's mind, Fiji was the place where the sky touches the earth. These people of Fiji, they must be very tolerant people. To live in such a place, one has to stoop over at all times and can never stand up straight. Eventually, they resolved to leave and find a new home, where the sky was farther from the earth, where the pandanus tree can grow high enough to be woven. So, they left this land right under the sky, leaving behind those
蛮
people
有趣的。
so old and bent that they no longer cared to stand up straight. The other Fijians gradually moved away from the edge of the world, and the sky got a little higher, and then they found a marvelous place.
天
It
空
was
花
fertile
园
and lush, with excellent weather
还是南与咪
and
的应
olive
许之
trees
地
for every backyard. But there was one problem.
What problem?
Earthquakes. Terrible earthquakes.
What?
As frequent
都
as
毁了。
rains during the springtime in this country. All because the sky was still close to the earth. When there's thunder, it echoes off the roof of the sky and causes the ground to break. But the Fijians adjusted. They built their entire civilization out of rubber. Rubber houses with rubber beds
很
that
稳
would sway to，
橡胶有弹性。
with rubber restraints that would hold the sleeping Fijians tight while they dreamed. But Nadia didn't want a bedtime story about that. She wanted a story about good and evil, the kind of story children like. So I changed it for her to be about a Fijian princess called Nadia, who finds the source of all the earthquakes. Yes, but it's a child's bedtime story.
The real
Change the key
stories.
as we go along. So, Nadia finds a dragon hiding under the earth. A dragon with a splinter in its toe, whose terrible roaring causes the earth to break. Nadia slays the dragon and saves the people by uttering a magic spell. Konothi Seauton.
このティスやトン。
Konothi Seauton. It's actually Greek. Rolls right off the tongue.
このティスやトン。
Okay,
我靠龙啊！
interesting. Can you say that again? All the mirror eyes closed.
このティスやトン。
Seems like it. And look, that's not the spell's only power. The card. There's a phone number on it now. Do you know what this means? I
Nope.
think you're ready to make a certain phone call. Right, ready to put your spell to use? Good.
干吧，
Do you have a phone?
说干就干了。
Even better. So, here's the plan.
魏征，
You call them and tell them you want to sign up for a tour. Here's the thing. If they act like they're taking you on a tour, everything's good. But if they've figured you out, they'll try to distract you while they kidnap you. Take it from me. They tell you someone you care about is in danger, but don't believe it. If everything's fine, then everything's fine. But if someone you know is in danger, it's a trap. Get out of there. Are you ready? Dial the number.
干了干了，说干就干了，打起来没有再怂的了。
Yeah. Who is this? That's a big park. You near the Argus gas station on Route 90? Alright, I'll pick you up in an hour. You don't have a car, do you? Just guess from your voice. So, see you in an hour. Don't worry about that. I'll be waiting for you once you land.
我靠，直接挂掉。讲话啊 NPC。
So, it worked then? I think you'll be fine. Just keep the spell.
眼睛怎么了？
And remember, if they
虚
start
无
telling
障
you
碍。
someone close had been hurt, it's a trap. It's a few minutes before 3:30 in Istanbul. There's another raft waiting. Another try. Thanks to you too.
应该就醒过来了，从梦里面消失。
All along this road, even in the cars of enemies. I've left something for you.
What？ 给我什么会交出来？嗯？而且还激动，厉害了。嗯？有信哦。
Hey, sorry I haven't written in a while.
那是他女朋友。好了，第5个旅途了。第5个旅途就明天吧，今天就到这了，谢谢各位收看，我们明天见啦。先给大家讲个梦，明天终章，拜拜。